Let's try to do it like this. Just a little bit. Much better. Peace to the family, peace to my comrades, and it's always smoke to the COINTELPRO boxing fan. Hopefully, the microphone's working better. We are back in business. When you come into the chat, please let me know that you can hear me with a 1 or a 9 in the chat. Oh man, Patrice X is in the house. Always having a brother's back to let me know we are good in the building. Salute to you, brother. Patrice X in the house. So family, I'm not going to be long. I just wanted to talk to the family for a few minutes about what I saw from Tank Davis and the Jake Paul press conference. And hopefully I won't be shadow banned for too much longer. I figured out some things that I'm going to have to do, but it's all good things. Unfortunately, you know, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Let me say that. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. It's some brothers who they waited until I made my first 1,000 views and did some grimy stuff, but I'm divinely protected, and what God wants me to do is going to get done. For anyone who doesn't know, all of us content creators have something. If you don't know, the YouTube Studio app, you can go through that and it breaks down everything, all your analytics from top to bottom. So if someone tries to get your page shadow banned, even if they lie on you, it tells you the time, it tells you exactly when they did it, all that good stuff. So from my own little private investigation, I know what's going on. But you know, I knew this was going to come with the territory, so it is what it is. But moving on past that, not going to be long. Just wanted to talk to the family for about 15 minutes and give the brothers some encouragement. Give the fighting men some encouragement. If you all didn't learn anything else from watching the Tank Davis Jake Paul press conference, your mental health is real. Mental health is serious. And I believe that the young brother Tank Davis, he needs some help. And sometimes, like many of us who are providers, who are the leaders of our households, we don't feel that we can take a break. We don't feel that we can tell someone, hey, I need to go talk to somebody besides you all in this house. So I wanted to give the men some encouragement. I have a book that was given to me by a good friend of mine. Salute Isaiah W in the house. Isaiah W, can you tell me if a notification went off? Did a notification go out, or did you just happen to see I was live? When you all let me know things like that, it helps me a whole lot, because I get to go back to my YouTube studio and figure out what's going on. But salute to Isaiah W, who is in the house. But family, I have a book here that was given to me by you just saw I was live. All right, so I don't know yet if they're sending my notifications out. I do know that I will be briefly shadow banned because of a so-called brother, but it's all good. Patrice X said, I had a notification go out yesterday, was at work, but not for today's. Okay, it's all good. I'm figuring out. I was looking at my analytics and I actually figured it out on accident. I looked at the video I did, the first video I did where I reached 1,000 views. And after the Canelo versus Bud fight, that video did 5,000 views. And Patrice X, you were in that chat. And I mean, we cooked, did our thing. So I'm like, man, we on a roll now. I know what I need to do between me doing my cooking thing, doing the heavy bag work. I was getting a lot of subscribers. I actually got, in the last 20 days, I got 100 new subscribers. So these are people that's not even coming from the channels that I'm usually on, that people know me from. I'm getting these from my lives of, working people out, the cooking thing, and other people who do follow me they might be from the LDBC, or they might be from channels I've spoken on. The thing about it is, the channels that I speak on, if you all notice, I never ask anyone to follow me. Never. Because I don't want anyone thinking that I'm using them to promote my channel, or I'm trying to ride their coattail. I have a genuine love when I get to speak to the brothers and sisters about conversations that we should be having. It is a liberating experience. But I found out that there are some people who are not happy about that. But it's all right, because I have something so amazing planned for you all. I mean, your kids will be able to see it. You're gonna love it. It's gonna take me a little while to do, but when it drops, you all are gonna be amazed. But anyway, family, I don't want to hold you all day today. I just wanted to give you all this little gem that I have that helped me understand my own mental health, to help me understand some of the decisions that we make as men. So let me slow down. I don't know if you all are familiar with the brother Jason Wilson. You might have seen him on Breakfast Club, social media. He's an older brother, bald head, long gray beard. He has a dojo where he teaches young black boys how to control their emotions through martial arts. But he also is a real big advocate on martial arts. Salute, Trenton Sparks is in the building. So I wanted to give this to you all because I was watching Tank Davis and I started thinking about the brothers. I started thinking about many of you who might be struggling. I don't know if you all can see that in the camera. Let me see. Can you all see that? Can you all see that? It's a book called Battle Cry. So I can see that my camera isn't picking it up. But I was trying to show you all this book that I've had for a few years. It's called Battle Cry. It's by Jason Wilson. And in this book's, brothers, let me tell you, this brother speaks on everything that we go through as men. He even goes deep into his marriage. PGH Big Dog is in the house. Salute. In this book, it goes into the chain of self-hate that he had to break as a black man. Many of us have been conditioned that it is just our job to provide, work, and die. Provide, work, and die in that order. We cannot, but I'll leave the title in this comment battle cry. But yes, it's Jason Wilson, Wilson, battle cry. And when you all get off, matter of fact, when you all get off, if you go on YouTube and you type in Jason Wilson interview on Breakfast Club, it's one of the best interviews that you can hear as a man, period, from another man who is a masculine, strong man being vulnerable, speaking about mental health, mental fortitude. This idea that we were sitting here on this earth to just work and die, it's not real. The self-hate that we have for each other, he goes deep into this book. Trenton Sparks says, I know some older folks that know Tank parents. Not trying to cape for him, but he definitely been through a lot, seen a lot as a kid, hence Calvin's role. And let me say this. I've seen fighters like Tank in the gym. Tank is not a punk, but he has some issues that needs to be resolved. And if he got them resolved, I promise you, he would be a better fighter and a better man. Salute the brother Drew Titan is in the house. So I'm watching the press conference and I realized that the only time Tank really got upset was, number one, when the reporter kept disrespecting Tank, basically saying, Jake Paul, thank you, over and over again for basically increasing the value of the sport, completely disrespecting Tank like he isn't who he is, like he isn't bringing what he's bringing to this event as a knockout artist who is a real fighter. But see, this is what happens when you put yourself in a clown show. This is what happens when you sign up for the circus show. So they completely disrespect him as a real fighter. The second time I see him get upset, it's not when Jake Paul is talking crap. It's when Jay Leon Love is talking. And that's when he gets hyped. So I start realizing a pattern. He has to start hyping himself up, but it seems like he can't do it until it's a brother that he's interacting with. Family, that's a sickness. And in this book, Battle Cry, it talks about that trauma response that he has. See, some of you don't even realize you act the way you act because you saw your mother act like that. And there was no man present to tell you, hey, chill. We don't move off of emotion. We move off of knowledge, wisdom. Trenton Sparks says that's what happened with Lamont Presser too, bro. You're right. Facts. Thank you, Trenton Sparks. I want you all to go back and think about the Lamont press conference. Tank was chilling. He was gun shy. He was cheesing, telling Lamont, hey man, your mom's right there. I ain't trying to do. But as soon as he seen some brothers talking that rah-rah, he was, he turned up, right? But he never got like that with Ryan. Test. What did I do? Test. My bad, you all. I hit the dial. But I'm starting to realize that he might have a complex where if it is not a black man in front of him, he has an issue. Now, let me break this down for you all, family. There is a difference between a Sambo and a coon versus someone who has been mentally castrated. See, I want you all to think about the movie Django. And I'm not going to be long, I promise. But I want you all to just think about the movie Django and the character that Samuel Jackson plays and why he is so diabolical. He knows business. He's so intelligent that he takes Master Candy to the back room, acting like a slave, to let him know that you're being played. He lets Leonardo DiCaprio know, the white slave master, know that you're being played. These niggas is in here playing you. So he has knowledge, but he still decides to inflict as much pain on his own people. You see, that is a coon Sambo. But there are other individuals. Now, family, I'm about to get deep, so you all have to stay with me. I need about 15 minutes. That's all Coach need. Later on in the movie, I want you all to remember, in the movie Django, who remembers the Mandingo fighter who kept mugging Django when they first met? See? Think now, y'all. See, the Mandingo warrior, he was trained and conditioned to only have smoke for another black man. So when he first saw Jamie up on that horse, jealousy, bitterness got in him because he wanted to be in that position. And he also thought that he also was like the character that Samuel Jackson played. So he automatically assumed that this brother is against me. Now, it wasn't until the end of that movie where Django actually sets them free, where he says, man, this brother was all right. But from the very beginning, he had a complex in his mind that this brother is my enemy. What I'm telling you all, family, is Tank has that same complex. Salute Joseph Townsend in the house. Tank Davis has that same complex. This is why mental health is so important. This is why the Soviets, this is why the Eastern European Olympic team forces all of their fighters to learn how to use the Schultz table. Who knows what the Schultz table is? Or have you heard of the Schultz table? The Schultz table, to make it plain, is like a puzzle. And when you get done doing extreme work and you're tired, they carry you over to a wall that has the Schultz table covered over the whole wall. And it has codes that you have to figure out while you basically are having a hard time breathing. It makes your boxing IQ better because it forces your mind to think. But what's going on with the mental fortitude of our fighters? Why are they scared to death to stand up for their cultural pride? Why do they scream, I damn sure am not going to bend the knee for Turkey, but you bend the knee for Jake Paul? And it's a slap in the face of all of you who have been talking all of this rah-rah crap the past few years, putting a responsibility on a man that he doesn't even want. What happens, family, to that preacher boy or that preacher's daughter who is told that they are next in line to run the church and they don't want that weight? What usually happens to them, family? They're told from a little child, you're next in line. And their life itself is under a magnifying glass, it seems like. So what happens is that preacher's child starts to break. And when they go astray, they go astray. So a lot of people put a responsibility on Tank that he didn't want. So yes, that brother needs help. But I want everyone that watches this live to go get this book by Jason Wilson. Every man, not just black man, but this is from the eyes of a black man. And every man should get this book by Jason Wilson. The book is called Battle Cry. It's going to give you instructions how to handle your mental health on the job, with your wife, with your family. And some brothers might say, man, I don't need no help. Let me tell you something, brother. Let me tell you something. If you go home and you sit in your car for 30 minutes to an hour, read the book. If you throw things inside the house and you put holes in the wall when you get upset, read the book. Your children don't like to communicate with you, read the book. You don't know how to communicate properly with your lady or your wife, read the book. It's going to teach you how to deal with this up here. Because once you understand that and you are living on a higher vibration, the universe is going to return to you the vibration you're living on, and better things are going to happen for you. But we have to start getting our minds right. Patrice X says they've never been presented history images of our own standing up. That's why that World War II picture you showed us is important to see, especially for the youth. That is correct. But family, I told you I wasn't going to be long. I just wanted the brothers. I know it's going to be a lot of hoopla going on behind Tank Davis and Jake Paul, and you know, this is a great time to point out the hypocrisies of his fan base and how they have been a thorn in the side of the truth tellers of the sport and those who really love the sport of boxing. But while we're doing that, I also want you to keep in mind that this is still a black man. I also want you to keep in mind that that's still a brother. And I know some people not gonna like that. I don't give a damn. You see, a lot of people like to talk that talk. But see, Coach Hudson is a real one. I'm a real man that stands on what I say. And I'm a real brother. Salute Delano is in the house. So I'm not a part-time brother asking for unity part-time. I can have differences. I can have differences and not agree with some of these fighters. But see, I already see what's about to happen. They're about to drag Tank and he don't even see it coming. They're about to make fun of the way he talks. They're about to make fun of and start this he can't read like Floyd either crap. See, that's still a black man sitting up there at that table. Like I said yesterday, I don't give a damn about none of it. Once I start feeling like we're being jumped on. So we can talk about his moves, but I want you to remember something. That brother might be sick mentally. And don't ever think that you're so high and mighty that you can't understand that this young brother might not have the mental fortitude to carry the weight that he signed up for. And we can call him out for that. We can call him out for his behavior. We can call him out for some of the rah-rah that's been going on. We can call out the fan base even for how they've disrespected other fighters. But let me say this. At a certain point, you're not going to disrespect another black man in front of me like that. Because I know the meaning behind, oh, look at him, he can't read. Oh, look at him, he can't talk. See, that ain't got nothing to do with boxing, and that ain't about the clown show. So you're going off script now, speaking to a base that really hates me and you. So, family, I'm going to tell you, our youth need better mental training. The brother Drew Titan says he is sick, and he called his sick base to the wild inadvertently. That is a fact. I want the people, if you have sons, if you're a teacher, if you're in law enforcement, working in the prison, youth organizations, big brother programs. This book by Jason Wilson, Battle Cry, is one of the best books a brother can read about your mental health. One of Bud Crawford's greatest attributes, who we've been celebrating, is his mental fortitude. That is the irrefutable truth. He doesn't care what other people think. He doesn't care what anyone else tells him he can't do. He tells y'all, watch. Y'all gonna be crying after the fight. Watch what I do to him. And we've seen Bud Crawford do that over and over and over again. Now, what would happen if all of our youth were walking around with that kind of mental fortitude? Talk to me, family. What would it look like if all of our young boys and girls were walking around with that kind of mental fortitude of a Bud Crawford? And I'm going to tell you why they're going to drag this out even more. There are people who are upset about the show that Bud Crawford just put on against Canelo. They hate the fact that we're celebrating. They hate the fact that they're happy. So do not be surprised the crap they're about to pull during this Jake Paul versus Tank Davis clown show. Don't be surprised what you see. And when you see it, you are going to remember the sound of my voice like today. And you're going to say, this is that BS Coach was talking about. Now, with that being said, has he not put himself in that position? Yes, he has. Has he not signed up for this? Yes, he has. Has he not disrespected his own fan base and told them to just shut up and be a fan? Yes, that is true as well. But always remember this, family, because that's a grown man and he's going to have to deal with that. But on this road of life, remember that what you know today, you didn't always know. You had to go through something at some point in your life. Fortunately for a lot of us, we learned those lessons as children. And we're men now. When I was a child, I did childish things, but now I am a man. And I put the childish things away. Delano said he doesn't. That's why Mayweather was guiding him. We should stay on code regardless, sick or not. Drew Titan said, Delano, when we point him in the right direction, we do not need distractions. When we point out the faults, you don't co-sign an EDP when they say they are seeing things that aren't there. Let me say this as well, family. And some people aren't going to like this. Maybe Floyd shouldn't have been the one to carry his career, because I believe that there is a weight on him that he doesn't want to carry. I believe that Floyd and Leonard Ellerbe said things, PBC pushed things that at the end of the day, Tank didn't really want. And people can be as upset as they want to, but watch this. Imagine if Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney all had Bill Haney as their advisor. What would boxing look like if all of those brothers who came up together at some point, who all knew each other, said, you know what? We already know that these plantations we're going to sign to are going to run us through the mud. No matter who we get with, we're going to keep someone that we grew up with and know as an advisor. Now, family, that's a 50-50 thing because it's business. But you know who's looking real good right now? Who's coming out on top of that situation? Bill Haney. You can say what you want. The only mistake I've ever seen Bill Haney make, which really wasn't on Bill, it was on Devin, because Bill lets him make his own decisions. But the only thing I've ever seen Bill do that I didn't agree with was still fighting Ryan after he came up on the scales the way he did. I knew something was up then. But other than that, if Bill Haney was a white man, they will be calling him one of the greatest father-son duos / businessmen in the sport of boxing history. Because he did it without going the old way. And you can't take that away. Let me tell you, the mental fortitude of a Devin Haney to go through that lynching that they put him through in the media, come back, beat Ramirez and not give a damn about what none of y'all say, and then call out Brian Norman Jr. Family, you can't tell me that mental toughness and mental fortitude doesn't matter, because it does. So even if you're a coach, get this book, Battle Cry, so that our warriors know how to regulate those emotions. They know how to deal with that trauma. And I'm going to show you all something. What do we always say? We say that boxing represents life because it is an art that mirrors life. Now, I just seen a clip of the National Guard in DC. Seen them walking around in Chicago. Now, who remembers that conversation we had last year on the General's channel? And it was me and Freedom's March telling all those guys who were talking about how savage we are in Baltimore, how savage we are in DC. And Freedom's March and I said, if them boys come up in there, y'all ain't gonna do nothing. And they got upset. I haven't heard of one casualty from the armed forces yet. I haven't heard not one of them get swung on or shot at or anything. So it sounds like y'all not as stupid as you were trying to make yourselves seem. It seems like the complex that the young brother Tank Davis has, he was taught by the same hypocrites who are in these communities telling us how savage you are. But when a real killer steps into your neighborhood, you ain't got no smoke for him. You're not stupid then. Then you can use your sense. So it lets us know that you are choosing. You are choosing to have selective gangsterism and selective outrage. So family, get the book, Battle Cry by Jason Wilson, so you can learn yourself and learn how to regulate these emotions and deal with your mental health. Because some of you don't even realize you're doing it. You see your brother you mugging and you give him hell. And not just that, I've seen you do it with the police as well. Black police officers come up who, don't get me wrong, they can be just as, trust me, I understand. But that's not the point. I have seen you give brothers who are in a uniform hell, who are trying to help you, and then Officer Milligillicucky comes along from Ireland or from Poland, and you give him the utmost respect. So don't tell me that you don't need your mental looked at, because I call hypocrisy. Y'all haven't done anything. Drew Titan said Officer Acid McGee. Delano asks, should we lose the kingdom because our leader messed up, or should we correct him and take the kingdom back? Well, number one, we need to be more careful on who we put in leader positions. That is why El-Haj Malik Shabazz, formerly known as Malcolm X, said we need to be careful the entertainers, the athletes, the actors and actresses that we put in these positions and call them leaders. Because 9 times out of 10, they cannot even carry that kind of weight. These people are not like Jim Brown. They are not like Ali. So that's first thing. But second thing is, when our children are looking up to these guys, we have to let our children know what to look at and what's worth you being inspired by and what is not. Because what we just saw at that press conference is nothing to be proud of. No black child looked at that and said, yeah, I'm glad to be a part of his community. And the thing about it is, once you step on out there and you side with a racist, once you step on out there and you let it know that you don't really give a damn about the people, then at a certain point, you have to reap what you sow. You have to eat the fruit off the tree that you planted at that point. And we cannot help you. Now, I'm not going to join in and drag my brother. But once again and again and again, you make it clear that you will never be on code and you're all about your money, we're going to eventually make you stand on it, because you are dangerous. Because we have little brothers and little sisters looking up to you. And that's the damn problem now. A lot of them, hey bro, he's getting his bag. Hey bro, he's getting his bag. So their soul could be being ripped apart, and they'll say it's okay as long as they're getting the bag. I beg your pardon. That is not how we were raised. I beg your pardon. Money ain't everything. So if you're going to call yourself the face of boxing, which is one of our organizations where a man can step into a level, which should be a level playing field, and show that I am superior based off of my skill set, standing on a foundation that was laid and paved down for with the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors. If you are going to come forward and say, I am now the face of boxing and there ain't no safety on this Glock, then you have to be prepared for what comes with it. And do not act like a victim when people ask you to stand on the things that you said that you are about. But family, I appreciate you all stopping by. I told you I wouldn't be too long. Patrice X said, that's where I'm at with Tank. Always defend him against racism, but his loyalty to people who threaten our community, Garcia, is dangerous, where we may have to outcast those with that behavior. Family, I appreciate you stopping by. Delano, I appreciate you stopping by. My brother Jude Titan, Patrice X, everybody in the chat, Trenton Sparks. Pretty soon, family, I'll be able to get the StreamYard set up and we can do some calls and really get this thing popping. Salute, Queen Tay-Tay. I know you in the house. PGH Big Dog, I appreciate you stopping by. And always, Isaiah W, I appreciate you for stopping by, family. Check out Jason Wilson. Jason Wilson on YouTube. Watch his Breakfast Club interviews. Watch any of his interviews. Let me put his name. I'm gonna put his name in the chat. It's Jason Wilson, and the book is called Battle Cry. So any men that you might be struggling with that, you don't want to say it, you don't want to share it with anybody, hey, this book can give you the encouragement that you need for you to go get the help you need. This isn't just for fighters, this is for men. And because we're men, when we wake up in the morning and step outside, the fight is on. Peace to the family. Peace to my comrades. And it's always smoke to the COINTELPRO boxing fan. Peace.